Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. At around 1:45 p.m. yesterday, officers were sent to the Ohio Waikiki Studio Suites on Kuhiwa Avenue, where the management had asked for assistance in escorting a male from the property. Officers went to the fifth floor unit and after knocking on and identifying themselves as police, heard a gunshot from within the unit. Shortly after, officers began clearing the rooms on that floor, and rooms across the street from the suspect's unit were also evacuated. Crisis negotiation and the Specialized Services divisions were requested and responded. Negotiators tried multiple times to establish contact with the suspect, but he refused to respond to all their attempts. SSD also deployed a less lethal round into the unit, but the suspect failed to respond to that action. Shortly after midnight, the unit was entered with a robot with the Specialized Services Division officers awaiting in the hallway. After repeated orders to exit the unit, the suspect walked into the hallway with his hands in the air and holding a handgun. SSD officers repeatedly ordered the male to stop and put the weapon down. However, the male continued to advance toward the officers and eventually lowered the hand with holding the gun. At that time, two officers fired at the male, striking him twice. He was treated at the scene before being taken to the hospital where he died. No officers or members of the public were injured. Between the first officer's arrival and midnight, the male fired approximately 8 rounds from within the unit. At least one round hit a police vehicle that was parked on the street below. We were hoping this incident did not result in loss of life. It's not the outcome we wanted, but we are grateful that no one else was hurt. We'd like to thank the Visitors Aloha Society and the Hawaii, or other words known as VASH, for its assistance in obtaining temporary lodging and other assistance for the many visitors and residents who were unable to return to their rooms. We'd also like to thank the nearby hotels and building staff for their cooperation. This was a collaborative effort and we thank everyone who assisted. We are not releasing the man's name at this time. He is a 48-year-old male. Identification will be released by the medical examiners once next of kin is notified. Thank you. I'll open to your questions.
Can you explain a little bit, you say he was putting his handgun down right before the officer shot?
His arm with the hand holding the gun, he was lowering that, and it was pointed or facing the hallway toward the officers.
You said he was a local man or visitor?
He has a local address, but we don't know any further than that. We're still investigating as to his background.
Can you talk a little bit, so say in South Waikiki started not too long ago, but it seems that crime is worsening there. Do you want to address that, or?
I don't think this incident portrays that there's additional crime escalating in Waikiki. There are safe and sound, and we continue to investigate, and our officers continue to patrol and respond to calls in the Waikiki area.
What were the circumstances that prompted the initial call to HPD?
The hotel staff wanted our assistance in escorting the male off the property.
So somebody had tried to remove him or ask him to leave?
I would make that assumption, yes.
Is it known what the reason was for the escort? Was he just disturbing other guests?
I think we're continuing the investigation, and those facts will probably bear out later.
And just to clarify, so was it the man pointed his gun at officers, at which time officers discharged their firearms? Is that correct?
Yeah, we're still investigating that part, but we believe that's the suspect was lowering the arm with the firearm in it toward the officers, and they fired.
Did he have other weapons?
Not that we know of, but we're still investigating his other property that may be on the hotel property.
So there were 8 shots total. The first was when officers arrived. Were the shots, as far as you can tell, directed at HPD officers or in the general location of them? Or?
I think we're still investigating where those rounds went to. They may have been inside the apartment itself or to the outside. We know one entered the vehicle that was parked down on the street. So where the other, we think it's approximately 8 rounds. Where the other 7 went, we're not sure yet.
Did you ever actually communicate or say anything to the officers during, when they tried to negotiate with them or anything like that, or?
It's my understanding that all the attempts by the negotiators to contact or make contact with the individual all failed. He never responded.
Was he a guest at the hotel? Was he checked in or had a room or anything?
I believe he was a guest at the hotel. And okay.
Well, before you came here, there was a barricade situation in Kahala in April of 2021. That also ended in the person involved dying at the hospital. Can you just talk about these barricade situations? I mean, do they often end in this? And I know you said it's not the way you wanted it to end, but I mean, are they very tricky to prevent the loss of life?
I mean, each situation is independent of each other. I'm sure when we get to the scene, our officers are not there to end the life of someone. There have been 2 officer-involved shootings this year in 2022. One was the subject did not die in that incident. This one was unfortunate. In 2021, there were 6 officer-involved shootings and 4 fatalities during that time. So it's not a common event, but it does happen.
Officers tried some non-lethal means before the actual shooting?
Yeah, there was a less than lethal round that was shot into the apartment, and there was no reaction by the individual, which was what the purpose of that round was.
So it hit the suspect, but
No, I didn't say that. What I said is it entered the apartment and was supposed to cause a reaction, but there was no reaction.
Was there anything in particular that prompted the action to engage and to cease negotiations or whatever negotiations that occurred to that point? Was there a reason why you acted in that particular moment?
Well, I think after many hours of trying to negotiate with this individual, trying to get a response from the individual, the SSD major at the scene made the decision at that time to try another tactic, and this was the result of that final tactic.
And what part of the body did the man sustain wounds?
I think the medical examiner, we're waiting for the autopsy to determine exactly where the rounds entered the body.
Was this incident caught on the body cam?
No, our Specialized Services Division officers do not have body cam, but we do have video from the hotel that we're working and processing through, and we'll release that as soon as we can.
Can you describe the technical term of that less lethal gun? Is it like a smoke device?
This was I believe it was a wooden round.
Or wooden?
Yeah.
and you say, when you say it didn't have the reaction that you had hoped for from that round?
Yeah, we're hoping that the individual would make contact with the crisis negotiation team that's there, but he failed to react at any attempts that we made to make contact with the individual or to provoke a reaction. They all failed.
Did the wooden round actually hit him?
I do not have that information, and I don't think so.
Can you describe the type of firearm he was holding?
He had a what we believe to be a 9mm ghost gun.
Was there anybody else in his room or his unit? Anyone else?
No, there was not. He was the only individual. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.